What's going on, guys? It's Danny here, and this is Priest versus Rogue. Taking this from a little dueling tournament I played recently. I am going with my standard PvP slash dueling spec for Shadow. And Dwarfu, the Rogue, is playing a dagger spec with improved sprint. So I will play our duels without speaking during them, but I will say a few things before and after them. Like how I approach the duel, what plan or strategy I have in mind to beat the rogue, or what I could have done better in the duels. You know, just for the priest friends out there that have been asking for something like this for a while. So against the rogue, I swap my belt to Sash of the Whispered Secrets, and one of my rings, the one that gives less stamina, to the heavy dark iron ring. This way I lose about 300 mana, but I gain 200 HP and armor, which is really big against rogue. This way I have about 6k mana, and that's completely enough. I still haven't ever had a duel against a rogue where I lose because I run And when the rogue has all cooldowns, I use 2 defensive trinkets, Insignia and AGM if it's ready, if not Burrower's Shell. My HP is about 5600 right now, by the way, with my own stamina buff. Another big thing against the rogue is the Skull of Impending Doom. This one takes quite a lot of practice and some knowledge to know when to use the skull to break a blind, so you will kind of figure that out as you duel rogues more and more. And here is my first duel against the rogue. Okay. I'm like next level lucky right now. That's what that was. His blind broke early, right? It was not him or anything. I feel like that was all my luck. So I definitely had a really good opportunity to pop Skull before the first blind. But then we know that he wants to heal, so a sap is coming. And I was able to Skull that sap because I got lucky with the blind to break early. After that, the second blind was Skulled a little bit by accident, but don't tell anyone, because I know Kidney Shot is ready, and I actually ate a Kidney Shot with my Skull hurting me on top of that, and I wanted to cancel it, but you cannot switch an offhand while stunned. So instead of my offhand button, I should have been pressing this button. Cancel Aura Flee means cancelling the skull effect. So this macro is pretty cool. Cancel the skull and equip slot 17, which is the offhand. But a very general couple of ideas is to skull right after you have trinketed the stun at the very start of the duel. Because some rogues think to themselves, oh, he trinket fears me. I will remove that fear and blind them and get a full reset. All the dwarf priests, by the way, laughing so hard right now how I'm trying to make the play of the year sculling a blind when they can just racial it. Very cool. Some rogues may actually fully eat the first fear and take damage during it and then sprint towards you, and when they lost 1/3 or half HP sometimes, they will look for a blind to reset and first aid and eat. So another option to pop the skull for once you have done some pressure to the rogue. Now the insignia. I used to always wait the first cheap shot and then trinket the first kidney shot. But now, beginning of phase 5, rogues do a lot of damage, and I started to play more aggressive, trinketing the very first cheap shot. That way, right after trinketing and fearing, I may pop skull for the speed to gain some distance away from them if they don't sprint right away, or I will try to grenade them if they are not using mind numbing poison, because the mind numbing poison makes the grenade much slower cast. And a very important thing, speaking of mind numbing poison and making you cast slower, the mind numbing poison does not affect mind flay, because mind flay is a channeled spell. So if the rogue is on top of you with the poison, one of the biggest mistakes you can do is try and cast a mind blast. I find it hard to cast mind blast even without the mind numbing poison, because rogues can just do so much to stop it. Kick, gouge, kidney shot, a good rogue vanishes the mind blast, or sometimes they use shadow reflector on the mind blast. So if you do a mind flay, you can stop it after one tick, or even if it gets interrupted after one tick, that's one tick of damage that also healed you through vampiric embrace, and it gave you a chance to proc a blackout, so you can maybe mind blast on that blackout. And here is my second duel against the rogue. No insignia, but another really good trinket I like using against rogue, the bar of peasant color. The peasants do a lot of damage to the rogue even when I'm stunned and I cannot play the game. And the other trinket is a defensive one, burrower's shell. He gets cooldowns because of this though. I should have equipped insignia because of that delay of the duel. This duel should have probably ended now already. Kinda sucks for me, but... yeah, my insignia will be up now in 8. Oh. Oh, I didn't use my tuber. It was still okay though. So I had a stun resist there, which helps a ton. And to be completely honest, this is like overall the whole story of priest versus rogue. You kinda need a little bit of RNG, but if you never resist anything, or don't get a single blackout, or don't manage to skull a blind where the rogue wants to reset, the rogue is really likely to kill you, considering they have as good gear as you do, right? It's not my most favorite matchup, because as a priest I just sit there tanking damage most of the time, and can't play the game very much. And about going out of shadow form against rogue to heal, I guess you have to if you're a dwarf, desperate prayer, but as an undead I try to never do it. Maybe sometimes a quick flash heal if I think that the rogue will not be able to interrupt it, and getting caught by a full kidney out of shadow form probably kills me cause I take a lot more damage. What I do sometimes is just one renew and then instantly back into shadow form, and it's a lot of healing combined with the vampiric embrace. Especially because we have a new rank of renew with the AQ20 class books. I'm pretty sure this rogue dwarfu used 2 instant poisons just for more damage to kill me faster. It's a bit strange to not see crippling, but at the same time it kinda makes sense. They have sprint to come to me and stay on top of me. The rogue in the next duel didn't use crippling either, but he did use mind numbing though, that's pretty huge. And again, for all the undead brothers, Devouring Plague is useful as always. Even against a dwarf, they have a ratio to remove it, but that ratio, they spend a global cooldown on it. Devouring Plague during a fear, Devouring Plague ticks twice, additional damage, healing, and the chance to proc a blackout. And like I said, for the dwarf it takes a global cooldown to do it, so it might not be the best global cooldown for them at that time, because they are trying to either nuke hard, spending all the energy with T and whatnot. But a lot of people do like this matchup, so here is one more duel against a rogue from my server. This is from the server qualifiers. So NBP, he had this dagger spec, but at the same time with cold blood. And he even had 2 on expose armor. To be honest, I look at this spec, and this is pretty much the ultimate priest killer spec. So basically this is how this duel went. Is he gonna do combo points? Yeah. Lucky sub break there. Wow. A mistake from me to not use a AGM or Burrower Shell together with Insignia when the rogue had all cooldowns. So he's an orc with his racial and 5 combo points exposed armor. He just does damage, 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 damage. I guess here maybe it would have a different outcome if I trinketed during the very first cheap shot like I did against the Dwarf Rogue. He even vanished to ambush during the first cheap shot and then backstabbed a lot with Renatakis and T. And also if I had a trinket that gives me a shield, I would have lived longer. Papa Tuber. It's just that he thought of a plan on what globals to use to kill me fast. No blackout stun from me was procced. No important chip or kidney shot were resisted. And sometimes you die, sometimes you win. He even whispered me after the duel, "Yo, I just crit every single ability." Sometimes I still can die like that in just 5 seconds or so. But this last duel against NBP happened before the dwarf one, so I guess this was like a learning experience. After that I used the proper trinkets and I was a lot more careful. I had a bit of luck against the dwarf, but still. Unfortunately no more rogue versus priest duels to show, because of how the brackets turned out and how there was no other priest versus rogue duel recorded or streamed for me to get. I hope that was fun to watch, and if you play priest, I hope you found something useful in this video. Thanks a lot for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. I stream live on Twitch, so follow my Twitch channel. See you in the next video.